Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Where did Chelsea Football Club go from here? I want to talk a bit more about the Arsenal game last night. I want to talk about the precarious state that is Chelsea's form. And every game that goes by, every performance I see, I'm inclined to go down one path. I'm inclined to believe that the best thing to do is just overhaul this squad. And then reality sinks in. The reality of these owners. And I start to think and I start to question where the blame should go. I start to question whether or not it's even plausible to believe that some of the answers to fix this problem, to head in an upward trajectory. Because, quite frankly, Chelsea Football Club, the curve in which we're on in terms of gaining points, if it wasn't for Tuchel, and I've said this a few times now, if it wasn't for Thomas Tuchel, a manager who was sacked, since then there have been 3 different men in the dugout. If it wasn't for the 10 points that Chelsea got, or should I say stumbled to, at the beginning of this season, Chelsea Football Club would actually be getting relegated from the Premier League. When you're a big club, when you're a club who win Premier League titles, win European trophies, spend hundreds of millions, fill out your stadium every single week, your away end sells out within minutes, moments of tickets going live. It is absolutely unacceptable to ever be in relegation threatening form, let alone genuinely look at the statistics, the maths, and believe that, okay, if it wasn't for our first 6 games, where it wasn't even title winning or Champions League qualification form, maybe borderline Champions League qualification form, but to ever enter that kind of period of form is in itself a disaster. To continuously build in a negative direction with this kind of form is beyond alarming. You look at what happened to Aston Villa. You can even argue Coventry City, Derby County, Nottingham Forest, clubs that were considered big clubs years ago in the Premier League, relegated. You look at what's happening at Everton now. And what's happened at Everton comes down to decision after decision after decision from the ownership at that football club. And unfortunately for Chelsea, as a fan right now, yes, it is tinted and hazed in the sense of, as a fan, we look at it and it's been going downhill on the surface layer for not very long. We're in relegation form, but let's be real, we probably won't be relegated this season. And then we're led to believe that next year, because we've not got Champions League football, at least we can focus on the league. So in hindsight, you should believe that things should get better. Things should improve. And unfortunately, the more I dissect the behaviour of these owners, the more we look at the surface and dig deeper. These guys don't have any experience working in European sport. They don't have experience working in soccer, football. They have no idea what they're doing here. And whether or not the signings that we made were made due to precursors knowing that Chelsea are about to get proverbially screwed due to financial fair play regulations and amortization rules with the lengths of players' contracts, meaning, okay, we best just sign a squad now because we might have point deductions coming our way. We might not be able to buy players for X amount of transfer windows. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 2 years, Chelsea are hit with these kind of penalties. Chelsea will probably end up as a result of all of these actions that have snowballed into one another, but only sent the club downwards. It could get worse. It genuinely could get worse. And it's at a point now, when you lose 6 matches in a row, it's a very bad run of form for any team. Managers who are managing clubs who expect to be relegated or around the relegation zone every season, that is a sackable offence. For any manager down the bottom of the league, to lose 6 in a row, you're probably getting fired. Football is a cutthroat business. Frank Lampard has come in, and I know I got it wrong. I've seen so many meltdowns from Chelsea fans on Twitter, the genuine frustration and anger towards me, just because I was excited because of Frank Lampard coming in. Let me explain something to those people that really struggle to fathom the reasons why I wanted Lampard in charge. We all said under Graham Potter, it was almost universal that we realised and believed that Graham Potter was not the right man to build Chelsea. to grow with Chelsea, to take Chelsea to another level that was not quite teetering relegation form. We all agreed that he wasn't the man. So when it comes to that next appointment, even as much as these owners have got so many things wrong, they did see that all of the decisions that got us to that point were wrong, so they need to slow down. They need to take some time. But then appointing Frank Lampard has not only tarnished Frank Lampard's Chelsea legacy, because even if what he did as a player can never be questioned, unfortunately now, 2 failed managerial stints, many will argue. The second one, just unequivocally, it's a failure. The first one, you could debate, did okay, but by the end it was pretty trash. Frank Lampard as a manager is now in serious danger of never getting a serious job again. Managers in the Championship will look at Lampard's record of losing football games and think, well, we got to get out of this league. Otherwise, what's the future for us? Could we be in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th rung of English football for 20 years? Clubs know that the Championship is now so important and so competitive, they need winners. Frank Lampard at this point has done nothing to suggest that he's even fit and healthy to do a Championship manager's role. So for Chelsea, the fact that after the Graham Potter sacking, Lampard was to come in, I thought, all right, well, at least Frank understands the club. At least Frank wants what's best for the club. Not saying Potter didn't, but in that moment, it's not feasible for the owners to keep Potter in charge. So they hire someone who you think the fans would get behind. Well, the issue is here, Chelsea Football Club, Todd Boehly, Bedad Igbali, everyone else who's just joined us who doesn't quite know yet what the fabric and DNA of this club means or is. Unfortunately, this is Chelsea Football Club. It is a results-based business, and our results are relegation-worthy Premier League results. Real Madrid in the Champions League was arguably as pathetic as any loss to a relegation team in the Prem, because Real Madrid never had to enter third gear. Years previous, under Thomas Tuchel, we beat them, knocked them out, and I'd argue they were a better team then. And we also came very close and got a famous win in the Bernabeu, but yet it wasn't quite enough due to refereeing decisions. And then this year we're feebly swept under the rug by Real Madrid, as if it doesn't matter. In the meantime, we spent 600 million to get to this point. So Lampard is there, and not only has he just completely ruined his own managerial career, but he's tarnished the relationship with the fans, because every fan I know of Chelsea Football Club is saying the same stuff. What is he doing playing these players? Why is Joao Felix, who apparently the club want to keep, being left on the bench when Hakim Ziyech is coming on? Why is new signing Benoit Badiashile on the bench and Trevor Chalobah coming on? I think Trev is an average to good footballer, but Badiashile looks to me like a fabulous footballer. He's only lost twice, I think, in a Chelsea shirt. Or he's only played 2 games. I don't know what it is. But when I've watched Badiashile play, he's a quality defender. But now he can't even get a sniff off the bench. Frank, what is going on? And I think this is what leads me again to discuss why these owners are failing so badly. Because the club and the fans, there is such a disconnect because it is so different to what we have been used to. That's understandable in a sense, but that is fueled. It's like pouring petrol on a fire when we keep on losing, yet still the ownership aren't communicating properly with fans. Todd Boehly can go and join a Twitter space where Chelsea Twitter folk are talking about the situation at the club, sit there and listen and understand that on social media, it is a different story to match-going fans. Half of the Eden Hazard profile photo people on Twitter couldn't name you 11 Chelsea players past the moment they made their Twitter account. Simple as that. But at the same time, you can say that you're listening, we understand the frustrations. Lampard's interviews are disgraceful. It's the same story every game with zero answers to any of his points in any future matches. Chelsea, the one saving grace was we could defend. Now we can't defend corners. Arsenal dominated us yesterday. We could have conceded 5 or 6 goals and it would have been absolutely understood, not flattering whatsoever, and we would have deserved that. The owners aren't communicating properly with us as fans. A statement at this point to just acknowledge we're aware that this is an unacceptable situation. Do we have any answers to any of these problems? We're working on it. All we're led to believe at the moment is we haven't announced Pochettino because we're making sure we don't make the same mistakes again. Well, unfortunately, you've made so many mistakes already, and the more Chelsea keep on losing, before this proper football manager comes in to save us, that's what we're at now. Help me, save us, SOS message, fire the flipping gun with a red flipping piece of smoke into the sky and hope someone rescues us at sea. That's where we're at now. So why has Pochettino not taken over? I've got a genuine feeling here that Pochettino might be the one taking his time. We're led to believe that Chelsea are the ones taking their time to ensure that we don't make the same mistakes we made with Potter. Why should we believe that as fans? We've made a dreadful mistake hiring Lampard. Yes, I said I wanted it, as I keep being reminded, but now I don't like the fact that Lampard's come in because I've been proven wrong. I was proved wrong in the fact that I believed that Lampard could ignite these players. Lampard doesn't have that. Lampard cannot do that. These players do not care. And Lampard can tell me all you like. Yeah, they really care. They're sad, they're hurting. Yeah, they're hurting. But players who are proper, top-level footballers, they get hurt, they get angry, and they do something about it. These players don't even jog after the second minute. These players don't fight for the first ball, let alone have a chance of winning a second ball. It is pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And then to come out with all of these PR-generated responses in pre-match presses, post-match presses, is disgusting even more. Chelsea, I know this for a fact because I've worked with the club. I've been paid by the football club at times to do certain projects when it comes to filming. And some of the things that the players are not allowed to say, the players look at you before, if they know you're a genuine guy, like I like to think I am, and they're like, oh, I wish I could have given you better answers. That's how Chelsea are. They are so heavily trained to not slip up because of slip-ups from Chelsea fans in the past that have given us a bad rep. They don't want the managers and the players to come out and say anything bad. It's another reason why some managers will have been fired prematurely, because the comments, even insinuating anything negative against Chelsea, isn't allowed. You're not allowed to say anything. So at this point, the fact that Lampard is still there, 6 defeats in a row, worst form since 1993, 36 years. Chelsea haven't been this bad, apparently. It's not actually the maths, if you think about it. That's 29 years. But this is, without question, the lowest point ever as a Chelsea fan. We can look at Terry slipping in Moscow and say that it was temporary sadness, but we got to a Champions League final there. This is a never-ending abyss that we're entering here. And the problem is, we've got to get used to it. Unfortunately, I genuinely believe that there's too much damage that's been done, and conspiracy theories that may have been, I think, are now coming to fruition. They're coming true. Lampard may say that Chelsea needs stability, and if they had stability and weren't hiring and firing managers so much, we would have won 6 Premier Leagues instead of 4 or 3 when he was playing. That is the pinnacle. That's the peak. Chelsea, whether we like it or not, are a different club now. We are owned by people who are learning on the job, giving themselves the most important roles in a cutthroat business. We will suffer. Next season, even if it's Pochettino, do you know what? The fact that Pochettino was a Spurs manager is so far away in my memory now because I'm desperate for him to take over. I'm desperate for Maurizio Pochettino to become the Chelsea manager because we need to somehow create some form of identity on the pitch. We have lost all what Chelsea is known for off the pitch because it is such poor performances game after game after game, such poor management from the top, management with media, everything is just a shit show. It's a shambles. It's a joke. And I think there's so many things that can be learnt from a model of Newcastle. Look at Newcastle, new owners, rich as hell, loads of money, but the approach isn't scattergun, let's just throw a load of money at it and fix everything because that's, you buy the best players, you buy the excitement. No, that's not how it works. Newcastle are backed Eddie Howe with manageable signings. They know that they're not going to win the league this year. My throat goes. They also know the Champions League is something to be cherished, something desired, dreamed of by their fans. So let's set the goals there. Not race to it, but build slowly. Give the manager a few players so that it's a definite improvement on what we had before, and let the club ride the wave a little bit of positivity, of we're about to do something special. With Chelsea, spending 600 million left us all hanging to dry because we all expected, let's be real, things to be better. But we've got a crowded squad. We've cycled through manager after manager. There's chaos in every corner of the club. And we've got an American owner who at some point or another this season was sporting director, yet knows nothing about football. Thought thinks that 4-4-3 is a formation. We need to prepare. Strap in. It's like going on a roller coaster right now with no seatbelt on it. And going upside down and it hanging there for a while whilst the technician works out if it's going to drop or if it's going to go all the way around. We are all currently sat here thinking, this is bad. But I just want to say here in this video today, it could get worse. It genuinely could get worse. I was very patient with my criticism of the owners. I was very patient with how I judged them negatively, because I would like to have believed that we would have used this season as transition, but with micro progressive steps. Yes, we want to win the league. Yes, we get frustrated when that is mathematically impossible or looks as though it's impossible. But to see the capitulation of every element of Chelsea Football Club, players arguing on the pitch last night, heads dropping immediately, zero confidence to even play a pass to the correct shirt colour. You could do better than some of them. I could do better than some of them. I think there's a serious chance that if you give 3 positions in the team to fans, we might actually do something better than some of these players in this club. The recruitment has been a shock, a shambles. And we really do, if we're going to get anywhere in the foreseeable, we've got to sell half this team. We genuinely have to sell half of this team, use some of the youth players who are now wanting to leave Chelsea because they don't see a pathway to the first team because we signed 15 players a season. And that's just only going to fill us with players who don't want to be there, overcrowding in the dressing room, managers struggling to keep everybody happy, and then season after season, the downfall will look like this. The downfall will continue to be like this. Chelsea's identity is in crisis. Chelsea have a serious job to do to reignite any of what makes me associate with the club. I'm out. And I'm saying I'm out mentally. I've checked out mentally. Physically, I'll still turn up with my eyes to watch every game because I don't live in the country anymore, so I can't go home and away in Europe the way I was before. I'll still watch and I'll still hope for the best, but I just wanted to make this video today to say that this is officially the lowest point ever for me as a Chelsea fan, ever, in my life. And I hope and pray at this point, that's all I got, that we can turn it around somehow. Get Pochettino through the door now. Stop leaving fans just thinking that you're doing something productive. Come on. There's no other manager out there. And the longer you wait, I think the less likely he is to even say yes to this job, because we'll keep losing and he'll get scared off. Simple as that. If we don't end up with Pochettino now, it's because the club are fumbling because they don't know what they're doing. How much more of this do we have to take? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Come on, you Blues.